How could we unleash our power with this quick guide to liberation? This morning's lesson is drawn from the 59th verse of Yong-jig xuan-jue's The Song of Enlightenment. Together. Inconceivable is the power of liberation. Its uses as countless as the gorgeous grains of sand. Who would not give every possible offering, such as 10,000 ounces of gold? But even one's flesh and blood would fall short. A test of a teacher is this. Lama, I'd love to support you, but I can't afford to. Can I still have teachings? Yes. A good Lama will say the best thing you can give them is the enthusiastic application of their advice. So what is the liberation the Buddha offers us? Let's look at that, or let's explore that through the lens of the Four Noble Truths, which we are taught, which tradition teaches us which was the Buddha's first sermon. Let's begin with stressors. Some people translate that as suffering, but it's more accurate to describe it as stress, whether it be subtle or coarse. And ask any, ask any evolutionary biologist, and they will agree there are circumstantial stressors, there are physical stressors, there are interpersonal stressors, there are mental stressors, and we evolved a response to that, not neurotically, not due to the caprice of some real or imagined celestial entity, but as a survival mechanism. So let us not poo-poo our experience of stress, though inconvenient it may be. Now, we have evolved a primal response to stress, and we have two reward circuits. The first one is dopamine oriented, and the second one is oxytocin oriented. And because the first one is older and it's more survival oriented, it tends to override the second. The first is about pleasure, the second is about fulfillment. When junior high comes and Mother Nature taps us on the shoulder, man, we are all about that pleasure. But once our midlife crisis arrives, we want fulfillment. We want to know our lives counted for something. But that can be undermined when our primal drives are in control. Now, there are moments in our lives when that can save our life. But that's the difference between it being on the ready or always going. So it's kind of like when I was a kid, I used to watch these detective shows on TV. I used to watch the Rockford Files and Cannon and Mannix and all the Streets of San Francisco, all these other Quentin Martin productions. And so I was convinced that someday I would have to, slam the accelerator to the floor of the car I was driving to flee a bad guy or chase a bad guy. And when I would drive in the car with my parents, I would notice the speedometer went far beyond 55. And although I knew 55 was the law, I thought, hey, man, at least we know we have the potential. We can access it if the bad guys give us cause. Of course, that never happened. So it's great to have our primal drives on the ready, but when they are default, when they are our boss, when they are our tyrant, it can be really, really unsustainable. When we are defined by perpetually shoving and reaching and clinging, there is very little peace in that type of lifestyle. So the peace the Buddha offers us, I should say the liberation the Buddha offers us, is not freedom from the presence of these profoundly jarring impulses, but rather freedom from their tyranny. They are still there, but they do not control our choices or our utterances or our deeds. Well, how do we get there from here? Simple. First piece of good news is liberation is possible, which is nice. And there is an eightfold path, which is very, very simple. And we will go through it in today's live stream. But essentially, noticing the views, noticing change, noticing impermanence, the love, the wishing love, and then behavioral love. Kind communication, kind conduct, kind commerce. That's 50% of the path right there. What's the remainder? Effortless effort, the theme of the entire Tao Te Ching, that flows from love's centered spontaneity. And what's the last two bits? Glad you asked. That would be mindfulness and meditation. So let's take a closer look at that before we dig into this morning's practice. What is the neurological mechanism that makes mindfulness possible? Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we access the sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the thoracic region of our spinal cord. That's the rib cage area to you and me. It is not evolved to help support us in either the first extreme of mind blanking or the other extreme of concentration, but instead to rest in the middle ground of simply noticing, and noticing vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. This vulnerability is exemplified by the nudity of the Dzogchen archetype that I like to describe in English as cloud gal and sky guy doing the hibbity-dibbity. But what are we to do with all that which we notice? What are we to do with all those sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like? What are we to do with all those emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings? What do we do with all that which we notice, be it external or internal, physical or mental, pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring, glorious or grotesque? Well, that would bring us to meditation, which is facilitated by our parasympathetic nervous system, which we effortlessly and automatically access every time we exhale. It is ensconced within the lower lumbar region and the tippy top of our cervical region of that same spinal cord. And it is evolved to support our physical relaxation and mental release. In fact, it could be said that as we relax, oopsie, my face at the mic, that's it, you've been accosted by my face. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever we noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Now, what's a real-world example of a non-graspable vast empty void? How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although is tantalizing to the eye, is intangible to the hand? Perhaps that is why Sky Guy and Cloud Gal are depicted as being translucent and incorporeal. Let's see here. One moment. Got to think here. Okay. I look forward to performing, to chanting and meditating with you. After approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I spent more than 8 hours a day, every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of Buddhism so that you wouldn't have to. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Now I gotta find the right button. Here we go. Welcome to this morning's practice text, the latest iteration of Shakyamuni's Easy Dzogchen. Pardon me. That's right, folks. All class, all the time. Let's begin by reviewing the meaning of the mantra. Together, let us chant. With whom we invoke the example of the Muni Wise One, Maha greatly wise one, Muni of the Shakya Soha, wishing enlightenment for all. This morning's first exercise is known in Tibet as Lama Khyena, which could be translated as calling the teacher as if from afar. What it really is a bit of the old energy work, which supports us in our practice of bliss and letting go. It is known by many names, including completion stage, Bindu Mahamudra, Anu Yoga, and Tikle, or drop. Consider, if you will, this graphic. The image of Shakyamuni Buddha reminds us of our enlightened potential to notice and let go and love. This couple sporting in tantric union literally reminds us of the teachings, figuratively reminds us of energy. The key is to silently and mentally recite Lama come to this crown during our inhalation, and to physically relax as best we can while chanting this 12-syllable mantra. So we're going to play with 8 sets of 16 repetitions of the mantra. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to keep track of the sets on my left hand, counting on the first and then the second set of creases of each finger, just to keep me in line. And actually, I'm going to use the right hand today. So I'm going to start right now by placing the tip of my right thumb upon my right little finger and sliding it down to the first set of creases. So I'll be reciting or intoning or chanting the mantra 4 times per breath. So I will keep track of that on my left hand. On the first set of creases, the second set of creases, the third set of creases, and the fourth set of creases. Let's go. Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Soha. 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 Together, let us meditate as profoundly as Sokotano on Lothal. This, of course, would be mantra meditations. Now it's time for bodhicittas conventional mindset of enlightenment, cultivating the loving wish for universal enlightenment. Oh, so on the right hand, we're advancing the right thumb to the right little finger's second set of creases. Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Yesoha. 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 Now we take refuge in the Buddha's example, instruction, and students, that we may help all beings master the Buddha's Eightfold Path. So now we advance the tip of our right thumb to the first set of creases upon our right ring finger. Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Yesoha. 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 Let's bring the horizontal duality of us and them into the dance of impermanence and interdependence, known as the yoga of inconceivability, where we transcend our self-centeredness in the most ironic of manners as we train in awareness and letting go. So on our right hand, we take the tip of our right thumb and advance it upon our right ring finger to our second set of creases. What could it look like if all circumstances or lost blissfully and impermanently melted into a rainbow line that interdependently absorbed into this body or form? Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Yesoha. 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 What could it feel like if all forms or bodies blissfully and impermanently melted into rainbow light that interdependently absorbed into this communicational speech? Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Yesoha. 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 What could it sound like if all into person the streets was for the end and permanently melted into rainbow light that interdependently absorbed into this mind? Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Yesoha. 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 What could it be like if all minds was flooding and permanently melted into rainbow light that interdependently absorbed into a vast empty void? Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which although tantalizing to the eye could be not graspable to the hand. Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Yesoha. 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 We now take our right thumb and move it to our right middle finger, dragging it down to the first set of creases. Let's bring Lama Nageore's Guru Yoga into the path of energy work that we might continue training in bliss and letting go. Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Yesoha. 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 We advance the tip of our right thumb up our right middle finger to its second set of creases. Let us now transcend the vertical duality of samsara and nirvana by metaphorically inviting all the real or imagined Buddhas, paradises, and their denizens to dwell in the 84,000 pores of our skin, thus practicing the body mandala of duality's awareness and non-duality's release. Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Yesoha. 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 Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Esawa. 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 We now touch the tip of our right thumb to our right index finger and slide it down to the first set of creases. Let us bring the experience of the four bases of mindfulness, the circumstantial, the physical, the interpersonal, and the mental, into the conventional path of love and letting go, where it is love that is emphasized. This is known by many names, including generation or creation stage, Tantra Mahamudra, Mahayoga, or Tokal, which literally translates as leap over. Together. So what we're going to do is twofold. First, we're going to verbally chant a loving intention that relies upon figurative language, primarily simile. And then we're going to silently and mentally recite its rather concise counterpart that instead relies upon metaphor. May all minds of all beings now be as peacefully wise as the mind of a Buddha, of laws symbolized by a tikle, one suitable zero bija mantra. Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesoha. 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 Now we advance. May all relationships of all beings now be as joyful, loving as a real or imagined Buddhist communication symbolized by this 12 syllable mantra. Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesoha. 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 May all bodies of all beings now enjoy the beautiful health depicted in Buddhist art. Of the blissful body of a yidam of lore and archetype of enlightenment such as Shakyamuni. Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesoha. 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 May all circumstances or lots of all beings now have the good fortune or boon as a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land of Auntie. Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesoha. 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 Again, we're going to bring the experience of the four bases of mindfulness, this time into the ultimate path of love and letting go, where it is letting go that is emphasized. So instead of working with wishing love, we're going to work with questions. What makes these questions special is that they are rhetorical. So just like before, we're going to chant an extensive rhetorical question, and then during our inhalations, we're going to recite a concise version of rhetorical question. The verbal one will rely upon simile, and the concise one will rely upon metaphor. If you've just joined me, welcome aboard. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. Please do not wait until the end to type your question, for by then my brain will have transformed into chocolate pudding. So It would be best for both of us if instead you strike or type while the iron is hot. So, by the way, on our right hand, we're taking our right thumb and advancing it upon our right index finger to the second set of creases. How is it that as we inhale all how is it that as we inhale all lots of circumstances could appear quite vivid? Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable or void as a real or imagined paradise or vaulty of light. Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa. How is it that as we inhale all bodies or forms could feel quite sensual? Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable or void as a real or imagined archetype or yidam of light. Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa. How is it that as we inhale the interpersonal experience of communication or speech could sound quite resounding? Yet as we relax into our exhalation, it could feel as non-graspable or void as a real or imagined mantra of light. Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa. How is it that as we inhale we could notice all minds, perceptions, emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings quite clearly? Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable or void as a real or imagined bija seed syllable of light. Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa. Now let us advance our right thumb upon our right index finger to the third set of creases. We now transition. This is our final set of mantra meditations that we will use to transition to silent meditation, where we bring the spontaneous play of mind into Slice Through's path of awareness and letting go, which is known by many names, including Dzogchen's Great Completion Stage, Sutra Mahamudra, Ati Yoga, and in Tibet, Trekcho translates into slice through, as in the phrase slicing through the duality of hope and fear. Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa. So this represents whatever we notice, whether it is external or internal or physical or mental or pleasurable or painful or interesting or boring or glorious or grotesque. Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa. Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa. Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesawa. 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 How are we to practice mindfulness? Simple. During each inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this. And how are we to practice meditation? Equally as simple. During each exhalation, we silently and mentally recite the monosyllabic verb ease, which functions as a synonym of relax. One moment, if you please. Let's seal this practice with a love that wishes for the universal mastery of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. May all master letting go in love. Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Yesowa. 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 May all master a kind communication, conduct, and commerce. Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Yesowa. 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 May all master the effortless effort of love's centered spontaneity. Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Yesowa. 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 May all master mindfulness and meditation. Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Yesowa. 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 If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10 1/3 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's evening meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.